Let me ask you something, and answer honestly. Have you ever been having a perfectly normal day, nothing particularly wrong, and yet something feels heavy? Not sadness, not stress, just this quiet sense that something is missing, like you're disconnected from yourself. You scroll, you check messages, you open an app, you close it. Nothing changes. And a thought slips in that's almost worse than feeling bad. Why can't I just feel okay? Here's what most people don't realize. That feeling isn't a personal flaw, it's not weakness, and it's not because your life isn't good enough. It's because your brain slipped into a state it was never meant to stay in for long. And the surprising part? You can shift out of that state in under a minute, without solving your problems, without forcing positivity, and without waiting for motivation to magically appear. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 neuroscience-backed mental switches that can change how you feel almost immediately. They're simple, they're fast, and they work even when you don't believe they will. But I need you to stay until the end because the final switch doesn't just change how you feel in the moment, it retrains how your brain responds to stress over time. Miss that one and you miss the real transformation. Let's start with something important. 2 people can experience the exact same moment, same pressure, same setback, same inconvenience, and walk away feeling completely different. One spirals, the other steadies. The difference isn't mindset, it isn't personality, it's timing. What happens in the first few seconds inside your nervous system determines everything that follows. Your brain is incredibly fast, but it's also incredibly automatic. It reacts before it reasons. And if you don't interrupt that reaction early, it snowballs. That's what we're going to work with today. Not thoughts, not affirmations, but signals. Because your brain listens to signals before it listens to logic. So, let's begin with the first switch. Switch 1. The body-to-brain override. Most people believe emotions start in the mind. That's only half true. Emotions are a conversation between the brain and the body. And often, the body speaks first. Right now, your posture, facial muscles, breathing pattern, and muscle tension are all sending constant updates to your brain. And your brain uses those updates to decide one thing. Are we safe or are we not? Here's what I want you to do. Not later, now. Gently drop your shoulders. Unclench your teeth. Let your tongue rest on the floor of your mouth. Take a slow breath in through your nose and let it out a little longer than you breathed in. That's it. You didn't change your thoughts, you didn't fix your life, but something already shifted. Why? Because safety isn't a thought, it's a sensation. And when your body softens, your brain recalibrates. Stress hormones begin to drop, neural alarms quiet down, the emotional volume lowers. This is why telling yourself to calm down rarely works, but changing your physical state almost always does. Here's the mistake most people make. They wait to feel better before relaxing their body, but your nervous system doesn't work that way. Relaxation is not a reward, it's a signal. Send the signal first, the feeling follows. And once you understand that, you stop feeling powerless in your own body. But what if your body is calm and your mind still won't stop? That's where the second switch comes in. Switch 2. The observer shift. When emotions rise, your brain narrows its focus. It zooms in, it loops, it replays. That's not because you're overthinking, it's because your brain has entered survival mode. In survival mode, clarity disappears. The fastest way out is not to argue with your thoughts, but to step out of them. Here's how. The moment you notice emotional intensity, stress, frustration, sadness, anxiety, pause and say this, either silently or out loud. This is anxiety. This is frustration. This is heaviness. No story, no explanation, just the label. That single act creates distance. Neuroscientists call this a shift from identification to observation. You're no longer inside the emotion, you're noticing it, and that distinction matters more than you think. Because your brain cannot fully experience an emotion and analyze it at the same time. When you label it, you activate a different neural network, one associated with awareness instead of reaction. The intensity drops, not because the emotion disappears, but because you're no longer fused with it. Think of it like standing in the rain versus watching rain through a window. Same storm, different experience. This isn't suppression, this isn't denial, it's perspective. And when you combine this with the first switch, body relaxed, emotion observed, you create a powerful reset. But there's still one missing piece, because even when stress fades, many people are left with a flat, empty feeling. Calm, but not good. That's because calm and motivation come from different chemicals, which brings us to the final switch. Switch 3, the momentum trigger. Here's a truth most people never learn. Your brain does not reward achievement, it rewards movement. Dopamine, the chemical associated with motivation, optimism, and drive, is not released when you finish something big. It's released when you make progress, no matter how small. Waiting to feel better before acting is like waiting for your car to move before pressing the gas. So instead of asking, "How do I feel better?" ask this: what is the smallest action I can take right now? Not the most productive, not the most impressive, the smallest. Stand up, sip water, open a document, write one sentence, take one step. As soon as you act, your brain detects momentum, and momentum changes chemistry. That tiny win tells your nervous system, we're moving forward. Dopamine releases, energy rises, focus sharpens. This is why starting feels hard, but continuing feels easier. Once momentum exists, your brain supports you. This is also why perfectionism is so draining. It blocks movement and therefore blocks dopamine. Small action beats perfect intention every time. And the best part is, this works in any emotional state. Low mood, move. Overwhelmed, move. Stuck, move. Not big, just now. Putting it all together. Imagine this moment. You feel off. Your chest feels tight. Your thoughts are spinning. Instead of spiraling, you do 3 things. You soften your body, you name what you're feeling, you take one small action. In less than a minute, your nervous system shifts. Not because your circumstances changed, but because your brain did. That's control. And the more often you practice this sequence, the faster it works. These aren't habits you need months to build. They're switches you can flip on demand. Once you know where the switches are, emotional overwhelm stops being scary. It becomes manageable, predictable, temporary. Let's close with this. Happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you activate. Your brain already has everything it needs to feel better. You just weren't taught how to access it. Now you know how to calm your system, how to step out of emotional loops, how to create motivation without waiting for it. And the next time you feel disconnected, heavy, or stuck, you won't panic. You'll recognize the state and you'll know exactly how to shift it. Because feeling better isn't about changing your life overnight. It's about knowing how to change your state right now.